on Saturday with Johnny Jarzen. Hello, Johnny.
Hello.
And yes, Johnny. I'm just going to switch to your screenshot.
Okay.
It's a nice shot of the ArchieLuxury channel. How have you been, Johnny? Talk to me, baby.
I have been excellent. Excellent. I had pneumonia at the beginning of June, but I'm over that now, and I couldn't be better, especially talking to my good pal ArchieLuxury. And of course, I just another great thing is I just celebrated my 12th wedding anniversary.
Hey, that's fantastic. It's a lot better to celebrate your 12th wedding anniversary instead of your 12th wedding.
That's right?
That's it, Johnny. That's exactly it, Johnny. Now, Johnny, you don't mind if I have a... What time is it where you are?
It is 6:10 p.m. Pacific time.
I'm just going to have a little small drink if you don't mind.
Not a problem. It's okay to have a drink right now?
Yes, it's okay. Even though it's technically 11 o'clock where I am, that doesn't matter because of the different time zones.
Yep.
And, Johnny, we got so much to talk about. So much has gone... So much stuff has happened since I last had you on the channel.
Yes.
And I'm going to start off with a drink. It's... I'm just pouring a little scotch. I've just had a fucking hard fucking week. And... Johnny, since I spoke to you last time, I'll tell you what happened, okay? I'll tell you what happened, okay? A good friend of mine, Descartes. He's a good friend of the channel. He agreed to. I was chatting to him. He said, "Oh look, just send me the AP. Send me the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. Cheers, Johnny. Cheers, fuckers." I sent him the Royal Oak.
Okay.
And he sent it to Audemars Piguet in Florida. That's Broadwater, I think. And they've given me the quote on repairing the AP to get it serviced. And I got to be completely honest with you. There. Just hang on. I got someone ringing me on the phone. I'll just say hello to them quickly. Just hang on. Hello, Greg. How are you? Hey, Greg, I'm just doing a live show at the moment. I'm doing a live show. I'll have to give you a ring back a bit later, but say hello to all the viewers if you don't mind, Greg.
Hello, viewers. How are you? I hope everything is good.
Okay.
Waiting here in Sydney.
Greg, I'll give you a ring back a bit later. Thank you so much, Greg.
No worries. Have a good day.
Sorry about that. Now, I sent it off to Audemars Piguet.
Okay.
And I've now got a third asshole.
I bet they probably got...
Now, it's not Descartes' fault, and it wouldn't have been your fault either, Johnny. Descartes is a decent friend of mine. He sent it to them, and they've basically quoted $2.5 to do a full service, and it needed a few parts. Now, this is the dilemma. Let me explain to you the dilemma, Johnny.
You said $2,500 US?
That's correct, Johnny.
Okay.
I've got an itemized bill I can show you. It's all broken up into small eatable pieces. Basically, their standard service fee is $995. That's what they charge to look at anything.
Okay.
It then needed a few parts, and it came to about $2,500. And they said to me, that's what's required to get it working properly.
Right.
What they said to me is if you want it completely polished and also the crown replaced and the hands replaced, it comes to $3,100. Itemized bill I can...
Wow.
That's so, I mean, I decided to go with the $3,100. Okay? Because... Okay. You can't. If I went for the cheaper one, the $2.5, I couldn't then change my mind and say, hey, hang on a minute, let's do the hands. They wouldn't just do that. You've got to do it at the time of getting all the work done. So I thought, fuck this. I'll bite into it
Right.
and I will get the whole thing done, get the works done now. You know what I mean?
Right. Now, does that include the polish too?
Yeah, that is the full works. That's the polish, a new crown, new hands. It's the works. $3,100, which
Wow.
I got to be honest with you, Johnny. I wasn't quite expecting it to be that bad, but as Descartes said to me, wow, he was shocked, and he said, it's so bad. I said, hang on a minute, it could be worse. They could have looked at it and said, hey, this is not the correct movement for this particular case, therefore it's fucked. We're sending your piece of shit back to you.
Yeah. Yeah, you would have been fucked up. Or even worse, they said that you couldn't have been that they couldn't have fixed it, and then that would have been the end of that.
So $3,000 is a big big price, but
right.
You play with these expensive toys, Johnny. You play with these horology toys, and the bitch will bite you. She will give you a third asshole. Now, the second asshole I got is, of course, from when I separated from my first wife and I was paying maintenance for the last 10 years.
That's the Russian, right?
That's the Russian. That's the second asshole. And that's the second asshole I've got now. I've just been given a third asshole. And I got to be honest with you, Johnny. I got to be honest with you. I'm a bit flat when it comes to that AP. Do you understand or not really?
When you say flat, you don't really care either way which way it goes?
Flat as in depression.
Yeah.
Clinical depression. Not so happy to see the watch.
Well, wait till when it gets back and it looks brand new and pristine, it's going to bring us...
Did you know what this fucker's cost me? I paid $6 for it.
Right.
And then I've spent $3 repairing it. $9,000? No, I have nine...
What's the model number on it?
It's a 14790 ST.
Oh, okay. That's the 36 mil.
The 36 mil.
Right.
And it's got a grey dial, you know, the grey blue dial. It's a classic Audemars. It's got a really long bracelet.
Right. It's got the slim movement.
Yeah, it's got the Jaguar based movement.
Right.
But I tell you the truth, Johnny. Look, what's it worth, really? If it's working fine, what's it worth? I'm just having a look on Chrono 24. I'm just going to flick over to Chrono 24 on my screen here, and we'll just have a look.
Okay.
We'll have a look. Okay. So look, there's one for 10,000. Okay. Pre-owned with box and papers. I got box with mine. Actually, let's have a look at that. Just have a look at that. That one there that looks similar to mine. Box and papers comes with a 15-month warranty. I don't know. I don't know if that's an AP warranty or their warranty, but let's have a look at the pictures of their one. It looks pretty neat.
You got the darker dial on yours too, right?
Yeah. Just cover me for 1 minute. My wife's just come back from shopping. Johnny, just cover me for a minute. Talk about this AP if you don't mind. Just talk about it. I'll be 1 minute, Johnny.
Okay. Well, it looks to be like the 36 millimeters on a little bit on the small side for now, compared to modern watches, but it's still a classic style. Of course, it's got the classic Royal Oak style. And the slimline movement. I mean, that adds to it. Looks like from what I'm seeing on Watch Recon, we're looking at anywhere from 7,300 to over 10,000. This one's 10,000, like new in box, so it's probably serviced. I think it's quite worth it. Personally, I don't think that you should get rid of it. It's the heirloom piece, as you know. Yeah, I wouldn't get rid of it at all. I would definitely keep it as an heirloom, something to hand down to the kids.
Hello, Johnny. I'm back. So, look. I'm just having a look at the this one here. This one's a really nice one. 10,000. I don't know if they're worth 10,000 to be completely frank with you. You've got a 14. What is it? Yours is a 15,400 or 300.
15,400. It's a 41 mil.
What did you pay for yours?
What was that? 11 and a half. I can't remember what I paid for it. 11 and a half, I think. 11.70.
Fuck! I paid too much for mine. This mine's going to owe me too much, Johnny. What do you reckon mine's worth, realistically? What do you think it's worth?
Well, I'm looking at, on my end over here, I'm looking at Watch Recon, which is...
Sorry, I'll just change over to your screen. Let's change over. Just click on screen share on yours, if you don't mind. Click on the little green arrow there, Johnny.
Let me pull it up here. 1 second. Okay. All right. So I'm over on Watch Recon, and I see... Excuse me. You can see there's a wide range of pricing. Here's one for $7,300 that was listed earlier this month with the white dial. And I don't think his says anything about nothing is wrong with the watch, keeps good time. Doesn't say anything about it being serviced. So that's at
actually at the top. It's serviced in 2009.
Still okay. So it needs another service.
It needs another service, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I think what you're into the watch, I don't think you're too bad off. I mean, here's another one. Let's see what this one is. Blue dial with box. This one, he listed it. He traded it off at he listed it at $7,250. He sold it. There's no pics, but it says he didn't. It looks like he didn't have his serviced, and it's kind of beat up. I'd say you're okay at 9,000. I don't think you're too bad off on that. I think you could sell that and get that money out of it.
I was thinking 7.5 to 8 is probably the money.
I don't know. Well, we saw that one that sold. Those were selling between 7 and 7.5, and those were selling, and those are not even serviced or serviced before.
Yes.
That one that you see for 10.4, that's at Govberg Jewelers here in the States.
Yes. They're reasonable, aren't they?
They're reasonable. I mean, they're a dealer, so dealers got a lot of overhead, so they have to make profits. So this is probably, I would say, probably at the high end of the market. I bet if you put yours on, you could probably sell for between $8,700 to $9,300, somewhere in that range. Once you got it back, maybe I might be wrong, but that to me that seems like what it's going for.
Johnny, I want to ask you something. What do you think I should do after my friend services it? I don't know whether I should send it back to me in Australia or send it to you and maybe get you to help me flick the fucking thing.
I could do that, but I mean, I would have no problem doing that for you. You know that, but I don't know. I think that, I mean, it's an AP Royal Oak. I mean, that's not something that everybody's wearing. So I think
No, I don't know whether I should enjoy it for a while. What do you reckon, Johnny?
Definitely. I definitely think you should enjoy it. I mean, it's like a brand new watch coming back to you. Definitely enjoy it. Look, you didn't get to wear it because it was all fucked up from the other guy, right?
Yeah, I'm a bit shitted off about that because I paid $6,000 on the premise that it had been served by an AP trained service guy.
Right.
And I got the fucking receipt from him too. I got the receipt. He spent $1,500 servicing it. I thought, oh, that's great. I don't mind paying a bit more because I thought the money at the time was about $5,000.
Right.
This is going back a couple of years, okay?
Okay.
And what a fucking sexy car, Johnny! What a fucking horny beast! That's yours, is it?
Yep, that's mine.
Far out, man.
Look at that. I love that car.
Is it better than the Porsche?
A million times better.
What was wrong with the Porsche? Because the Porsche is amazing.
This is how I view it now. The Porsche was a great car, the Panamera, but it was more of like a Porsche. It didn't give you that stately, aristocratic or luxury feel to it. It just felt like a sports car with 4 doors. So yes, it had leather. Yes, it has nice accoutrements and things like that, and chrome bits and pieces and stuff like that. But it wasn't. It didn't give you that like a Mercedes S-Class feel or BMW 7 Series feel. It didn't give you that really high-end feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's a sports car, but it's still a sports car.
Yeah.
No?
No, it's definitely a sports car. It was definitely a sports car. I'm getting it. The wife, the Erndors, told me that I'm going to be getting. I can get a 911 next year, so that's what I'm going to get.
What sort of 911 you going to get?
I'm going to get a non-turbo. You know what? That's a good point. We're going to talk about this. I was thinking, because I've been doing a lot of research on this, and
how much? What's your budget? What's your budget? Give me a budget.
Anywhere from 30 to 60,000.
Would you consider a classic, like an early 70s one?
I want something that because I have old cars. I want something that's a little bit more
usable.
Reusable, yeah. So I was thinking of maybe an 80s 911 or like
air cooled.
Yes, air cooled. Or like Descartes has the 994s. I think he has a 97, right? Or
yeah, that's the last of the last, I think, isn't it?
Right. Yes, it is. And
that's quite a valuable car, isn't it?
Right. And that actually gives you the best of both worlds. It gives you the earlier air-cooled feel, but it also has a lot of the modern technology on it. And I think that's kind of the sweet spot where I want to stay at on that. But I've been looking at a couple of things. I've been looking at Ferraris, things like that. So I don't know.
What sort of Ferrari? What sort of Ferrari?
I'd have to do a little bit more saving for that. Ferrari F430.
Mm-hmm.
Or that's probably, if I was to go, really go all out, I'd probably get an F430. If I wanted to keep in the budget of the 911, I'd probably get a F355.
I always loved the F355.
Yeah, it's like this one right here.
Yeah, it's sort of the carryover from the model before that was the 348.
Right, the 348. Yep.
And I got to tell you, Johnny, I just wanted to just quickly get back to the AP. Look.
Yeah.
I've got the AP itself there. Look, I think I'm just going to wait and see. It hasn't come back from service yet. Hopefully it'll be a bit longer because I'm having some financial difficulties at the moment. Mm-hmm. And I got my tour. Look, I'm just hoping it takes longer because I've also got my Breguet. Did you ever hear the story of my Breguet?
I know that it was you had it serviced and the guy screwed it up and you got it back.
Well, okay, to be honest with you, he didn't screw it up, okay? Let me just take that back. What happened with the Breguet is that, it's a long story, Johnny, but I'm just going to flip back to me. Johnny, okay. I got the Breguet serviced, right? And it's a very delicate movement. It's a horology piece, okay? And right. It needed some parts. I sent it to another watchmaker in Sydney who's probably the best watchmaker in Australia I know. And he said to me he couldn't fix it. He said, look, it needs some parts which I just simply cannot get. Breguet will not sell them to you. So I actually had a friend of mine, Ian. You know Ian? Ian's the guy who slept with 7,000 women.
Uh-huh.
7,000 plus women. Yeah, I told you know the story of Ian, don't you?
Yes, uh-huh.
And I just, before we go on there, I just want to do a community service ad for Safe Sex. He slept with 7,000 women. The only thing he's ever caught is crabs. Okay, because he's always Johnny. He's always rubbered up. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
So Ian actually took it to Breguet, Hong Kong. He went and kissed their ass and begged and pleaded. They've agreed to do it for under $1,000. Full overhaul, full polish. The crown wasn't quite perfect. It had a little scratch in the crown. He actually took the crown off before it went in, so they're going to put a new crown on it, under $1,000. It's absolutely... I really do love the Breguet. That's something I'm going to keep. The AP, I'm going to wait and see. The problem with the AP is, I'll tell you, Johnny, I don't know if you've watched the channel lately, but I've really gone into usable watches.
Right.
Do you understand?
You got a lot of Rolexes now.
Well, no, let's just back the truck. You know the Archie 5, I've still got those 4 pieces. I've still got my Patek 5107. I've still got the Jaguar Reverso. I've still got the Breguet. I've still got the AP. Okay? Right. So I got 4 of those still. And you can grab that if you want, Johnny.
They're gonna...
Yeah, you grab it.
That's
okay. And anyhow, Johnny, I can tell you this now, right? I've So I've added 3 Rolexes. I've added a Datejust 16234 with white dial and Romans. I've added a white dial Explorer 2 16570, and I've added a no date 14060 Sapphire Submariner.
Okay.
Usable watches. Those Rolexes, I just love them. They're so usable. They're so rugged. What do you wear at the moment, Johnny? Tell me, what are you wearing at the moment?
I have my, sorry about that. I had to answer a question. I have my Rolex Daytona on right now.
Wowzers. That's a great watch, Johnny.
Yep, the white dial.
Yeah, that's great.
I still have the 3. I have the Daytona, the AP Royal Oak, and the Omega.
Wonderful.
I was going to get that AP Diver, but I held off. I don't know. I want something.
Oh, I thought you were doing the diver. Johnny! I thought you were doing the diver. Remember, you gave the money to your friend to get it for you.
Yeah, I know. I got it
What
back.
happened? What happened?
I got it back. I don't know.
Johnny, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
You're going to put 60 grand into a Porsche, right?
Right.
Why don't you buy a Patek perpetual calendar chronograph for the same money?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Forget the chronograph. Just get a 3940 second hand, 30 grand.
Right.
And buy yourself fucking something like a Jap sports car.
I do like that the Nissan that's out there.
The 370Z?
No. The what do they call it? The GTR.
I don't know, Johnny. What do you think, Johnny? I'm just trying. I mean, a Porsche is so cool.
I don't know.
But
see, the thing is I'm a car guy first. That's what kind of kills it for me. Because I keep thinking, well, if I spend 30 or 60 on a Patek, I could spend that on a Porsche or another, a Jag sports car or something like that. A vintage Jag like a E-type.
I love an E-type. What's a good E-type? That's about 60.
You can get them between 60 and 100, depending on what year and what model. People really don't like the post 67 67 models. I think that started the Series 2 in 68.
Yes. Series 2 is a good car. Like I don't know if you know your Jaguar. I've actually got a book on Jaguars which tells you the full story of Jaguar E-types. But they got the Series 1. There's the Series 1.5.
Right.
There's a Series 2, and then there's a Series 3, right? The Series 3, it's the early 70s. It came out, I think, 72, and 72 or 73, and it's got the V12 in it, the 5.3-liter V12.
Yeah, I don't like the Series 3. I really like the Series 1, but I like the Series 2 too.
Yeah. Series 3 is cool. Don't discount that. Series 3 Roadster is a fucking cool car. V12, I don't know if they're fucking amazing.
No, I've been in one before. I've driven one before. They're a good car. I like the straight 6 a little bit better. I think that gives it more of the heritage, more of the sporty feel.
Yeah, and I mean, I think in the engines, you got a choice of the early ones. You got a choice of a 3.8 or a 4.2.
Correct. Yes, that's correct.
And I think the 3.8 is probably the better one, you know?
It's a higher revving motor than 3.8.
Yeah, and the 3.8 is a fantastic... That if you can get one, they got a thing called a flat floor Roadster. Flat floor. It's a very early one.
Those are very expensive.
Yeah, very expensive.
It's about 150 to 175 plus.
Yeah, the flat floors are fucking... They're dear bastards. But, Johnny, I gotta tell you, Johnny, I mean, fuck, you see this luggage behind me?
Yep.
See the green briefcase here? I got a green briefcase, and I also got a baby green one too.
Yes.
And underneath that, I've actually got a green suitcase. Do you know why they're green?
They're green for money.
No, they're green for one reason, Johnny. You know why?
Why?
When I eventually get the E-type Series 1 3.8,
Yep.
coupe. I want the coupe, not the Roadster.
Right. Me too. I don't like the Roadster. I like the coupe.
I can put that in the back, Johnny. That's the green, which is going to sit on the biscuit tan interior.
Yes.
And I can put, that's going to be British Racing Green. That's to go with the British Racing Green. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm. Beautiful wire wheels.
Yes, yes. Series 1 came with the wire wheels there, you know.
Let's see here. I got a picture.
Johnny, I'll just flick over to your channel, to your view now. Johnny, I love E-types, you know.
This is a picture of Series 1. I think this is a flat floor too. Hold on. Are you over on my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Can you see it?
Mm.
Isn't that beautiful? British Racing Green with, like you said, like with the biscuit interior. Everything about the car is just absolutely perfect. Do you know that Enzo Ferrari said that's the most that's
exactly the most beautiful car in the world?
Yeah, and the 2.5. That's why I think that the 250 GTO, the Ferrari 250 GTO, styled in that car.
You reckon?
Yep. No, if you look at the 250 GTO, it's very, very similar in design. A little bit more muscular looking, this is more of a country road type of sports car.
Yes, yes. Johnny, I got to tell you, personally, Johnny, I've always been a huge fan of the E-type. I don't think it really matters whether it's a Series 1 or a Series 2. What I don't like is the fat. I don't like, you know how they had they also had a 2+2. Like, this is a coupe. This is a coupe. That's a coupe, right?
I do not like.
But they also had a 2+2, which is actually like it's a fat. The Jaguar E-type is like Elvis Presley. It put on weight as it got older.
Yes, that's very true. The 2+2 looks terrible because it's got, it's the 4-seater configuration.
And this is actually the first one. This is a press shot from the first one released there. That shot there. It's a very, very early car there. But she is beautiful. I would. Fuck, Johnny, where's she gone? I love that girl. You know that? I'm just in love with her, Johnny.
Which one?
Look at the girl in this car here. I mean, fuck, Johnny. I don't know. Oh, she's just fucking sexy. Look at, isn't she beautiful?
Yes.
and I bet you, Johnny, she'd have underpants that have tiger print underpants.
Right.
You know what I mean? She's just fucking sexy. That's just a... Oh, Johnny, it's a beautiful car. I absolutely... E-type... I don't know what I can do, Johnny. I've been married so many times. I've fucking wasted all my money. It's all gone. It's all gone, Johnny. All my money's gone, Johnny. I've given houses away. My businesses were never that successful. I don't know what I should do, Johnny. I should maybe take up a job with Redline, selling product, and buy myself any toys I want, Johnny. What do you think?
Absolutely. I'll hire you on the spot. Come on out here. Definitely can work.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Johnny. I love Jaguars. You know, I tell you the truth. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a Jaguar, real Jaguar aficionado, and I know I don't profess to know everything about Jaguars, but my boss, the guy I used to work with, who had a Sea Dweller, plastic Sea Dweller, he had a Series 1 3.8 coupe as well. Coupe. He had a Series 1. Did you know when the E-type 3.8, the original Jaguar came out, the Roadster was cheaper than the coupe? Did you know that?
I did not know that. No.
Yeah, if you were buying one new, the coupe was more expensive. Okay.
Right.
And you know that engine in the Jaguar there, right? See, I don't know if you know the story to this, but what happened is those guys from Jaguar, they were drafted into the army in World War II, and they were sitting down saying, okay, what's the best engine? And that's how they designed that first engine, which became, in the XK 120 and 140, they released, I think it was a 3.4 at that stage.
Right.
right? See, Jaguar itself was actually called SS cars. Did you know that? You knew that, didn't you?
Yeah, I knew that. Yes.
Shallow sidecars, wasn't it?
Well, it started as sidecars, and they built the SS.
And then, you know, after the Hitler thing, you couldn't call anything SS, so they called it Jaguar.
Right.
And you Americans call it Jaguana, right?
Well,
and
Jaguar. You're supposed to say Jaguar.
Jaguar. And I got to tell you the truth there. I had an uncle who had a Mark 10. You don't know what a Mark 10 is, do you?
No, I do. The four-door.
Yeah, it was the biggest Jaguar ever made, which actually became a Daimler. They used it as a Daimler up until the early 90s. Okay, yeah. My uncle had a Mark 10, which had a 3.8 liter engine in it too. Actually, they were a bit ugly. I'll be completely honest with you; they were ugly. But I gotta tell you this. The other thing is the Jaguar Mark II. You know, the Mark IIs. They were amazing cars. That's a four-door sedan. Right. But I got to tell you this in all honesty there, you know, I got to be completely honest with you, right? If you gave me a Jaguar, Johnny, I would love you forever.
Well, if you come out here and work for me, then that might happen.
I got to tell you, the E-type itself. Now, look, I reckon you're a bit nuts, okay? I tell you why, okay?
Okay.
This is a Series 3, right? This is a Series 3 Roadster, right? Okay. The Series 3 Roadster never came with wire wheels because it was too heavy, right? But, Johnny, you got to be ahead of the curve, okay? With classic cars, the first one and the last series are the most valuable.
Yes.
And the Series 3, it's actually an acquired taste. It's actually quite a fucking amazing car. Okay, so I wouldn't say it's awful. I was behind one a couple years ago. Fuck, does that V12 sound good? You need, but I mean the problem is, Johnny. I'll tell you the whole problem is. Look at this photo here, right? Uh-huh. Look at that. It's like you're behind a Bugatti. It's so cool.
That looks really nice because that's a Euro spec. Now, if you look at an American spec. It's got
fuck you, Americans! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Why do you fuck with the bumpers?
I know they had that.
You Johnny, I love you. I love you as much as I do, but fuck you, Americans! What the fuck were you thinking? Changing the bumpers?
They did that on everything. They ruined fucking MGBs. They ruined the style of MGB.
They fucked it up.
Oh yeah, well I really like the early XJ Jaguars that was built in the late '60s, early '70s. The Series 1. Now, if you go to Series 2, then they put those horrible, ugly black bumpers on there for protection. Because of the.
Oh, you're talking about XJ6, aren't you? XJ6.
Yes.
You know what I really love, Johnny? I don't know if you've ever even heard of this. Okay, let me tell you that. You know what I reckon's a cool car?
Uh-huh.
Did you know they had an XJC?
Yes.
Do you know what that is?
That's the two-door.
That's a coupe.
Right.
Coupe of the sedan.
Yes.
And I reckon they are fucking cool. They are fucking cool. Look at this, Johnny. Isn't that a cool looking car?
They're tough to find, though. They're very rare.
They're not that rare in England.
Over here in the States, they're very tough to find. Any early Jaguar, except for E-types, is
that's a late 60s, early 70s car.
Well, I think the XJC they started in 73 or 74, and it went to 77, I think.
Yes, okay.
Beautiful. With the V12, too. Oh, stunning.
Yeah, and you could get it as a Daimler or a Jaguar, you know? Do you prefer the Daimler to the Jaguar badge, or how do you feel on that?
I like the Jaguar badge. I love that the roaring Jaguar, that leaping Jaguar. I don't know. It's just the Daimler grill always looked kind of plain to me. I don't know. I prefer Jaguar.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough there. Look, Johnny, I love my Jaguars. I absolutely do, but I don't buy one because I have been so foolish with money over the years. Marriages,
Well,
prostitutes.
well, keep
You
your
know,
head up. Keep your head up. You've got plenty of time. You've got plenty of years left. You're gonna have.
you're younger than me, Johnny. You're younger than me, Johnny.
Yes.
Come on, Johnny. We both know it ain't gonna fucking happen, don't you?
Never know. You never know what'll happen. I bet it's give it time. You could
Johnny.
be like. Have you ever seen that show, Keeping Up Appearances?
Yes. Hyacinth Bouquet.
Bucket? No, bouquet.
Yes, it's a great show.
I love that.
I'm surprised you Americans get that humor.
Well, the thing is my wife and I were what you would, well, you know this. Not a lot of other Americans know this word, but we're Anglophile. So we really have a deep respect for British culture and, you know, everything that goes with it, or English culture, I should say.
More educated.
And more educated than typical Americans here. But yeah, we
Yes.
watch. It's on Netflix here. I don't know if you have Netflix over there in Australia, but they have those shows on Netflix, and we've been watching that.
Did you ever watch a series called Minder?
I don't think I've watched that one yet. No.
He drives around in a Jaguar all the time.
Oh.
Oh, I'll have to watch that.
Yeah, Minder. You must have seen Minder, haven't you?
I've probably seen it at one time.
Yes. See, in the English there's some nasty side. There's the Cockney English, you know, they're just real.
Oh, I love the. Oh, I know Minder. Yes. I know what you're talking about.
With Arthur fucking Daly. Arthur Daly. You remember Arthur Daly, don't you?
Yes. Now I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, that's a great show, you know. That's a great show there.
I love all those Cockney type of shows and the movies, you know, the gangster movies, the Cockney gangster movies. I really like that culture too. I think it fascinates me, like the Cray twins, the Richardson.
Were you ever into the Carry On Laughing series?
No, I don't think I. You know what? No, I haven't seen that one.
No. Come on. Carry On Laughing. It's very risque for the time. It was sort of like Porky's type humor for the Englishman. Carry On. You heard of the Carry On series? Come on, tell me you have heard of Carry On. With Sid James.
Was it mid-70s?
60s, 70s.
Carry On. I think
Carry On.
A couple of episodes of it at one time.
Yeah, okay. Now, Johnny, I got to check with you. So, the Jaguar. So, I would myself, man. How many cars have you got, Johnny? Tell me this. How many cars have you got?
I've got the Jaguar. I've got the Dodge Magnum.
Yes.
I've got the 1954 Lincoln and the 1950 Plymouth. And I sold the 61. I sold the 61 Comet recently because I was bored with it.
Have you seen my footage on American cars? I made a few videos lately.
Yeah, I did see a few of those videos.
You're not a caddy man?
I like Cadillacs. They're a nice car.
Lincoln, of course, the Ford Lincoln was a direct competitor to the Cadillac.
Correct. Yes.
And
I like the 60s Cadillacs, and I like the 40s Cadillacs, and I like the early 50s Cadillacs. I don't like the late 50s. I think they're too brash, I guess, too garish.
What about the 60? I love the 60.
The 60 is beautiful because it had the combination of that beautiful 59 body style.
Yes.
But had the subtle, more conservative fins on it. You know who originally did the design on the 60, right?
No.
Pininfarina.
Is that right?
Yeah, if you look up a 1959 Cadillac Eldorado Pininfarina,
yeah,
it'll show basically the 1960 Cadillac body style.
I see.
Yeah, Pininfarina designed, because Pininfarina also designed the 57 Cadillac Brougham.
I see. Wowzers! That's amazing, amazing knowledge there.
Yep.
So tell me this, Johnny. I wanted to ask you, right?
Uh-huh.
But are they?
What? You broke up.
I said not all American things are good. You remember the Chrysler Maserati?
Oh, that
The
piece
Chrysler Maserati. You're a Dodge man.
Yep.
What the fuck were they thinking? Can I ask you that?
I don't know. Now
You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
yeah, I did. Maserati. They call it the Chrysler Maserati TC.
Here we go. It's up on the screen now, fuckers.
It had that horrible porthole in the rear for the rear the rear sail panel.
Chrysler TC by Maserati. It was unreliable and ugly.
They've made full circle now. They're owned by Fiat Group, which owns Maserati too. They've come full circle.
It doesn't make it any good, but Johnny, does it?
No, in fact, that new, when we were looking at that Maserati Ghibli that came out, or Ghibli that came out.
Yep, Ghibli, yep.
Yeah, that new one that came out, but it has all Chrysler 300 underpinnings. So it has that Chrysler engine in it. It doesn't have the Ferrari engine. It has the Chrysler engine in it.
Well, you know, Chrysler, they fucked up Mercedes-Benz, so now they're going to fuck up some Italian brands as well, aren't they?
I don't know. I think Fiat's going to put the hammer down with them and really straighten them up.
The other American car I want to talk to you about is the Cadillac. You know, what was that small Cadillac called? The
Citroen, I think it was, or Citation, or
Cimarron, the Cadillac Cimarron.
It was based on the Citation, the Chevy Citation. What a piece of shit!
What the fuck were they thinking?
I think they were sniffing too many fucking fumes there in Detroit when they built that.
Now, tell me this. That was based on a J body. That was the General Motors basic platform. We had it in Australia. It was called the Chimera, okay?
Okay.
And it was a piece of fucking shit. See, the problem with General Motors is, in the 80s, they got really smart with the accountants. They got an accountant to look at every nut and bolt in the car, and the accountant could choose a cheaper option.
Right, exactly. Well, that's what ruined.
The car became an absolute piece of fucking shit. Everything was cheap. This was supposed to be competing against a BMW 3 Series.
Yeah, right. I take a rusted out 3 Series before I ever take one of those.
I mean, what were they thinking, really?
I know.
Were they a Cadillac, or what were they, really? Are they a Caddy? Or?
No, they were a Chevy. I think they were Chevy Cavalier or Chevy Citation before.
I know, but they tried to pass them off as a Cadillac. What were they thinking?
Well, that's what destroyed a lot of car companies, quality-wise, in the 70s and 80s. You took the car guy you took out of the company. You took the designers who cared, you took them out of the company. And they had, like you said, the bean counters, the accountants. And they came in and they destroyed everything. Look what happened to Jaguar in the 70s. They completely fucking destroyed that brand, British Motor BMC, because they were owned by the government. Because you did videos on it. They completely destroyed the brand.
I want to show you some recent horror stories. Can I show you a couple?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, because I don't want you to take it the wrong way, because I like you, but I just want to show you. You remember the Jaguar? The Jaguar E-type.
Oh, God.
Do you remember that car or not?
Yeah, over here, that was a Ford.
It looked okay.
Yeah. I think
over here in America, it was what?
A Ford Escort, I think. And you said it was a Mondeo over there?
Mondeo. It was a Ford Mondeo, yes.
Yeah, over here was an Escort.
So, what went wrong with that?
Well, I mean, I think just like with anything, Ford had to get their money out of what they spent, because they spent a lot of money buying Jaguar in '87. and they had to get their money out.
I actually drove. I had a hire car as a Ford, a Jaguar E-type, and I got to be completely honest with you. It was actually a nice car to drive. It was. I had the all-wheel drive version. But basically, look, I'm sorry to say that it was a Ford Mondeo with a Jaguar grille on the front.
No, I agree.
And leather and wood, leather and plastic wood. Okay,
Yeah.
Leather and plastic wood doesn't make a fucking Jaguar. Do you understand or not?
No, I completely understand, and it was the real shitty, low quality leathers too.
I didn't think it was that bad, but if you say so.
The S-type was a Lincoln LS.
No, that's the S-type. Sorry, yeah, that's what you said. The S, isn't it? The S-type.
S-type is.
I never minded the S-type. Did you hate the S-type? What did you think of the S-type?
To be honest with you, I wasn't really a fan of Jag during that time. I thought the S-type was kind of, and now, here's an interesting story. I used to...
It's very retro, but it's retro. It's very retro.
Well, that was that whole craze. Everybody was trying to do retro-looking cars around the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, early 2000s. That's right. Yep, go on. Yep.
Early 2000s, I worked for Jaguar as a mechanic for a little while.
Yeah.
And that's right when the S-type came out, and they were the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen in my entire life. There were so many problems with that car. We had one lady, she brought the car in. She had 780 miles on it. The power steering rack blew out at 780 miles on the car. That's because it was all Ford built. The motor was Ford. Every mechanical bit on that car was Ford, and it was carried over from the Lincoln LS. But they're a huge piece of shit.
Oh, I see. Got you. So, what happened? What happened to these cars then? I mean, she would have been a Mercedes or BMW owner before the Jaguar. She would have been shocked, wouldn't she?
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? Let's like you say, let's back the truck up. I worked for Mercedes and BMW too as a mechanic in the late '90s, early 2000s, and then fucking Mercedes was, I mean, hands down, was probably the worst car I've ever seen. As far as quality-wise, I've never seen so many people have so many problems with a car. Well,
that's because those fuckers at Chrysler fucked it up. You know what I'm saying?
This was before Chrysler, before they had that merger. This was before that. They just, I don't know.
Here we go. Are these fuckers reliable? Look at these fuckers here on the screen.
I wouldn't own any of them. I mean, they're a nice looking. Now, don't get me wrong. They're a really nice looking car, but mechanically, shitty car.
The W124s. This is a W124 here. You know the W124s, like this here. They're okay, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
They were solid, weren't they?
Let me see here. You're
on the screen, on my screen. Have a look there. That one there. No.
Hold on. It's the feed is slower on my end. Oh, the E-Class.
Yeah, that's the W123.
Sorry,
the W124. Sorry, that's the W124.
So you're not like the one that's on the top one, the one that's 4 over, the 4th picture over. That's the W124, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, that's a good car. Now the one that took the body style that took that place of that one that you have on
that was the circle headlight, Benz.
Circle headlight one. That was.
They were a W211, weren't they?
I think.
They were a piece of fucking shit.
We had out here because a lot of in the desert here, there's a lot of sand and shit like that and dirt in the air. We had people. Yeah. I'm not even lying about this. We had people bringing their E-Classes in. Like, we would probably get about 10 to 12 a day because the check engine light would come on because the mass airflow sensor was such a piece of shit that they built that it would shut the check engine light would come on, and then it would it would detune the engine. Basically, it would make the performance not like there was no performance in the engine. It was a piece of shit. So we would place so many mass airflow sensors on those that Mercedes thought that we were doing this just to make money, like a scheme. Yes. So they audited, Mercedes warranty audited our dealership because they thought because there were, and we said no. We said it's your product that you guys are putting out that's the shit product. It's not us.
And what happened?
Wow, they had those guys there. They had them there for about 3 weeks, and they'd watch us work on the cars and make sure that we were doing the proper steps. I mean, to be honest with you, they charged the warranty company 6 hours for doing it. It takes you about 10 minutes to change out the mass airflow sensor.
hey, this is Vegas, fuckers! This is Vegas, fuckers!
So, well, because you're supposed to do all this bullshit diagnostics and pulling the spark plugs, checking the coil packs, because this is at the time when they first introduced the coil packs. All that bullshit. Fuck that. We just went in, cleared the code out of the computer, because the mass airflow is right there next to the airbox and the intake pipe. We'd change that thing out, and 10 minutes later we'd be done, take it to the wash. And charge them 6 hours warranty every single time.
Now, Johnny, I got to tell you, this is the last decent Benz, okay? You remember the W123s? They were fucking decent cars. I'm bringing it up on the screen now.
Well, the ones from the 80s and
That's
90s.
the 80s, Johnny. This came out in the 70s. The W123 came out in the mid-70s,
Right.
and it went until 1984 when it was replaced by the W124. These were Beirut taxis, Johnny. Beirut fucking taxis.
They're still taxis to this day. That's how good of a product they are.
And Johnny, you remember the W126? You know what I'm talking about?
That's the
S-Class version, like on Dallas. Dallas!
SCL, like the
The SEL, the SELs.
420 SCL, yeah,
Yeah.
380 SCL,
They were good cars too, you know?
Do you know
Why don't you buy one of those, Johnny? You can buy a 300 SEL. They're as cheap as chips, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't know. I want something sporty. I want a little sports car.
Get a 560 SEL. Get a 560. What about an SL? Why don't you buy a fucking SL? That's a reliable car. Get an SL. Get a fucking SL, Johnny.
That's what my wife wants. She wants like an 84 to 87 SL. The 580
84. 560. 560?
560, that's right. 560 SL, yeah.
We had those in Australia. You had them in America too, but you know the problem with the American ones is?
What?
The fucking ugly bumpers!
Yeah, that's true.
What the fuck were you Yanks thinking?
The European, that's why there's a bunch of companies out here that are switching them over to the Euro spec bumpers because they look like shit on the ones out here, the American spec ones.
See, that's actually that model is an R107, I think it is. That's the reference number. It's R107. They came out. You know that mid-80s Benz that actually came out in '72. Did you know that?
Yes, they did. Yep.
And it lasted until 1989, when the SL500 replaced it. Well, the SL500 was an R129, right?
Yep.
So this is an R107. I don't know if you saw the Pagoda Mercedes I had for a while.
Yes, 230 SL, right?
Yeah, that was the model before this.
Right. Yeah. And then before that was the 190 SL.
No.
Before that.
You know what's before that? The fucking Gullwing, Johnny.
Well, yeah, that's the 300 SL, but the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what happened? Okay, let's back the truck up because the 190 was a poor man's 300 SL, right?
Yes, it was. It had the smaller engine. Yep.
Whereas the 230, the 230 actually replaced the 300 SL, and it also replaced the 190. It was one model instead of two models. Does that make sense, Johnny? So, Johnny, I just wanted to say to you, Johnny, I fucking love these SLs, man. Look at this fucking dark blue SL here. Even with the ugly bumpers, it's just I don't remember American TV show Private Benjamin?
Yes.
She used to drive around in a green one. Remember that? Private Benjamin? And Mrs. Hart from Heart to Heart, she used to have one too. You remember Mrs. Hart?
Yes.
she was married to Robert Wagner, who killed his wife in real life, didn't he?
I know. Hey, well, you know what's funny?
Hey, am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, no, you can. You know what? The only wood that doesn't float?
What's that? Natalie Wood.
Natalie Wood. It doesn't float.
Jesus, Johnny, that's a bad joke.
I know it is.
Did he kill her or not? Robert Wagner was always a cool-looking guy. I used to love Robert Wagner. Did you?
Yeah, of course. I think they reopened the case again. I think Natalie Wood's sister is trying to reopen that case.
Yeah. I mean, why would he kill her? But I don't understand it. Robert Wagner was a very suave guy.
She was supposedly having an affair with another actor.
They all having affairs.
Of course. That's natural out there.
I tell you this now, Johnny. You know who I used to love as a kid?
Oh.
I used to love Maureen McCormick. She's so cool, don't you think?
Yeah, yeah.
From the Brady Bunch. Marsha! You remember Maureen McCormick?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She was a cool-looking actress. Very sexy woman. I used to love her. It was only... You know, I was so in love with her, it took me 10 years to realize that she was as old as my mother. I didn't realize it was shot in the late 60s, early 70s. It took because I was watching the reruns.
I know. When I was a kid, I was in love with that Mary Ann from Gilligan's Island.
Mary Ann. Which one was Mary Ann? Oh,
kind of the hick one. She wasn't the ginger.
Yeah.
She was the brunette.
I'll just bring up a picture on the screen now.
Yeah,
she was very sexy. I mean, even though she was a hick. Oh, yes. Actually, I preferred her to the actress. Yeah, she was fucking very, very sexy.
Yeah.
And do you know how old she is today?
Yeah, I don't want to think how old she is today. She's probably, what, in her 70s now? Is she?
Older than that, I thought.
Yeah.
But, Johnny, it's, you know, with cars are such a magic thing. Johnny, I used to love, what else did I used to watch in the 80s, you know? I remember, I used to watch Family Ties. Did you watch Family Ties?
Yes. Used to watch that.
Because I remember...
What about...
the sister said, why don't you buy a Maserati? A Maserati! Because they were going to buy a family car. They ended up buying a Volvo 700 series.
Yep.
But they were actually, because they asked the sister, what car? Oh, I hope you get a Maserati. And you know what it would have been? You know what sort of Maserati from that time period, if they listened to her, it would have been?
It had to have been that
Bi-turbo! The bi-fucking turbo!
Yeah.
They were fucking horrors, you know that, don't you?
You know, yes, but I kind of like the look of the car. But yes, they were.
You know what they were based on?
No.
They were actually based on a BMW 3 Series. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that at all.
That's what those fucking wogs, those nasty fucking wogs, right? They copied the fucking Krauts. That's what the BMW. It's actually I owned one of these. It was a BMW. The BMW E30 series. That's what the Maserati bi-turbo is based on. It's supposed to be an upmarket BMW 3 Series. That's what they copied it on.
Uh-huh.
Because the Maserati used a V6 twin turbo engine.
Right, and you could really see it in the rear quarter, in the doors in the rear quarter, the rear quarter windows. You can really see it in the design, how they copied it. You know what BMW I really, really like from the 80s?
No.
630 CSI.
Yes. I got a friend of mine, right? He's got an M series of those.
Oh.
There's an M635i, and it's an English import, because in Australia, we never actually got one of those.
Uh-huh.
But it's, the Shark Nose, they were a good BMW.
That is just such a beautiful car.
I love the 7 Series that was at the same time. You remember the 7, like the 733i? They were cool. You can buy those 6 Series pretty cheap now. They're not worth like Porsches.
There's quite a few out there that you can get in at least here in the States, between a nice one too. Anywhere from like 5 to 9,000.
Yeah. I was always a Mercedes lover. I always loved Mercedes.
Yeah.
I don't know, Johnny. I got to tell you, you know what makes me really sad. With Mercedes, it always took me about 3 years when they released the new model for me to actually like it.
Yeah.
Like, I actually liked the model before. Like, I remember when the you know the circle headlight bends you were talking about. The model after that was the the W212, I think, which had slightly, they weren't as round, they were sort of oblong headlights.
Right.
And I didn't like it for a while, but then I liked it. They're cool. But Benz is pieces of shit now. Ever since Chrysler put their grubby fucking hand on it. Now, I don't know if you know this. You know the 300C, the Chrysler, that's like the you have 300Cs. They're based on the old E-Class. Did you know that?
No, I know that. My Magnum is based on that too.
Yeah, exactly. That was the W211s. That's the ones you were saying were such a piece of shit. That's basically what your car is.
I know. Well, mechanically, I don't know, on my car, on that Magnum, I just turned over 121,000 miles on it.
Can you bring up some pictures, Johnny? Bring up some pictures there of your car.
Which one, the Jaguar?
Yeah, anything, Johnny. It's your screen's on the show now. Just show them anything you want to show them, Johnny.
Here's the plate I put on my car.
Oh, what did you put? Oh, governor. Hey, you got that from me, didn't you?
Yes.
You're joking, aren't you, Johnny?
No, it's the governor.
It's your governor! That's like the boss. You understand that? Because we were settled. We were a colony of England, right? So that the highest person in the country was the governor. And it's always your boss, the governor. You know, your governor. So we used to have. You don't have this in the United States, but we had the governor. Like we're in Queensland. We've got a governor, and we've got a governor general. That's actually higher than the prime minister.
Uh-huh.
And you American fuckers, right? You fucking American cunts. You fuckers sacked our prime minister in the mid-70s because he told you fuckers to fuck off with your spy shit. And you fuckers in America found out that our Governor General was into pornography, and you blackmailed him to sack our Prime Minister, you bastards!
Hey, don't blame me.
I'm just telling you. So, Governor, that's fantastic. I love it. You got it from the channel.
Yeah.
It's lovely. And I got to say, that cat on the back, I don't know if you know this, but Jaguar... Sir Lyons, right, was his name.
Yep, so
Bill Lyons, right? William Lyons, right?
Uh-huh.
He said with a Jaguar, you never need to have a name on it. Like, it doesn't say Jaguar anywhere because it's so unique, everyone knows it's a Jaguar.
Yeah, that's true. Nowhere on my car, on the outside, does it say Jaguar at all.
And that's partly because they've sourced all the bits from Ford, but okay.
No. Not anymore. These aren't Ford cars at all. This is all 100% English made.
And I got to tell you, you know, when Tata owns Jaguar now, right?
They own them now, yeah.
And I got to tell you, when the Indians took over, as everyone said, the quality can only improve.
Yeah, and it did. It drastically improved. Tata is investing a ton of money into Jaguar. Well, JLR. They call it JLR. It's Jaguar Land Rover because. Did
you see that press article where Jaguar has actually bought a classic car collection?
Yeah, the guy's first name is Bill. He's a dentist in England, and they bought like
the whole collection, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like 570 cars. I think they spent 170 million on the collection. He had some beautiful...
I got to tell you, how do you find the Jaguar? Tell me this, Johnny. What's it like? Is it better than the Porsche?
100%.
What stopped you? Can I ask you this? For that money, you're buying cars, right? You could have bought an S-Class easily, right?
Yes.
You don't like the S-Class, or?
Absolutely not. This car is better than an S-Class. When this is the top of the line XJL this is the long wheelbase, so it's the XJL.
Yes. The only step up from this is like a Bentley, isn't it?
Yes.
Would you go Bentley?
Oh yeah, well, you know what? I don't know. The Germans own Bentley now.
That's right. Volkswagen owns Bentley.
Yes. I don't know. My wife really likes the BMW or the Bentley. I'm more of a Rolls Royce fan. Still English.
You're a Rolls Royce.
Yeah, still English made, man. Still. Well, you know what?
The BMW V12 isn't very good, but is it?
I don't think they use a BMW V12 in there anymore. I think it's a Rolls Royce made V8 now that they use in those. I don't think it's the V12 anymore.
You sure about this?
Let me check.
You're talking about the Phantom, aren't you? What are you talking about, Johnny? Let's just back the truck up here, Johnny. I think you might owe me an apology.
I might owe you an apology. I think so. Let me see here.
Yeah, please, Johnny. I'm getting a bit concerned. So we're talking about like the Rolls-Royce Phantom, aren't you?
Right. Well, I don't like the Phantom. I think it's too big. I like the that coupe that
the Ghost.
With. Yeah.
That's still a Phantom coupe, isn't it?
No, not the Ghost. The Ghost is a smaller 4-door. I like the 2-door.
You know, but they had the Phantom as a 2-door. They did it as a drop-head coupe.
Yes, here I'll find.
Please do, Johnny. I think you've kind of overstepped your mark there, Johnny.
Hold on here. I gotta find their rep. Let me give me a couple seconds while I find Rolls Royce's.
Yeah, website. Johnny, I'm just fucking shocked. That's all I can say. I'm shocked. Shocked, Johnny. Shocked.
Well, I know that the bodies are still built over in Germany for the Rolls Royce. Then they shipped a complete body back to England and for final assembly.
Okay, Johnny, you're scaring me. Please explain, Johnny.
Hold on. Oh, it's the Wraith. That's the one I like. The Rolls Royce Wraith.
Okay. Do they do a Wraith now?
Yeah, here, switch over to my screen.
I'm seeing it, Johnny. I don't like what I see.
That's the Wraith.
Okay, and what's the engine in that? Let's have a look.
Let's see here. Okay, here you go. Power. Let's see what the power plant is. You know what? I owe you an apology.
Hey!
You're right. I apologize deeply for my mistake. Mm-hmm. You're 100% correct. It's the V12, yeah. The 6.6 twin turbocharged V12.
Yeah, it's the BMW sourced unit.
Yeah.
Which.
But I heard that because that's not BMW doesn't technically own them anymore, though, right?
Who owns them?
Let me look it up.
I got to be honest with you, Johnny. It's that V12. You know the 750 series, right? They weren't very good cars. You know this, don't you?
Well, not all the 750s that I saw here in the States didn't have problems.
They did have problems, or didn't have problems?
They didn't have problems.
They had what? So say it again.
They did not have problems.
Okay. Did you start them?
Did what?
Did you start the car?
Yeah. They
didn't have problems.
No, they did not have problems. The ones that I've encountered, the V12s didn't have any problems. I'm talking like the early. I don't know about the new ones, but I'm talking the V12s from like the late '90s, early 2000s. The 750.
Yeah, the 750, the V12 engine from BMW came out in the late 80s.
Right.
Okay, that's when it came out. Because they also designed a new 4-cylinder engine, the M40 engine, 4-cylinder engine. And it came out at the same time as that, because that's what my BMW had. It had an M40 318i 1.8 litre engine, which, to be completely frank with you, was an underpowered sort of engine. But anyhow, Johnny, I got to tell you, Would you go Rolls Royce? How far of a stretch is that for you?
That would to buy a Rolls Royce would be a big stretch. It'd probably be more in line with a Bentley Continental next. Before I went to like the Rolls Royce. That's quite a big step. I wouldn't say quite a big step. It's a big step.
You can buy a second-hand one cheap, can't you?
Oh yeah, I would never buy a car brand new. That's the worst thing you can do here in the States is buy a car brand new.
Yes.
Johnny,
we better wrap up the program. This program's been going on for a bit, Johnny. It's been great chatting to you. I'm just going to kill the show.
All
so,
right.
Johnny, I just want to say thank you so much. You stay on air, please. I want to talk to you, okay?
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Johnny. We've got to do this again. This was fucking cool. I love it so much.
Ooh,
So, Johnny...